Okay, we're going to do some work against the wall to start. So find yourself with a 90-degree hip and a 90-degree knee, feet flat on the wall. Just lie your spine down and find your neutral, dropping your tailbone. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, gently deepen the belly and roll the tail up into your coccyx curl. And roll back down, find your neutral. And the feet press gently into the wall as the belly pulls back into the spine, exhaling to curl. Inhaling to come back to neutral. You can do this maybe 4 or 5 times. Curling as much as it feels good, and noticing the point when the belly is working alone and then the legs begin to kick in a little bit. Just figuring out how far can the belly take the pelvis without enlisting too much leg. Deepening that belly every time you curl. Then you're going to take that curl and continue curling up to your bridge. Bridging up to maybe your shoulder blades. Don't go so high that you lift the ribs and arch the back. Create that deepening of the belly and that tucking of the pelvis. Exhaling while you roll. So breathe out, roll down. Breathe in your neutral. And breathe out to curl up vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling through the sequence of your spine. Keeping your shoulders and your neck and your head heavy, and your armpits loose, and your arms just easy and long. Now you'll curl to where those legs really kick in. Hamstrings pull my sits bones up towards my knees. Reach my knees towards the ceiling, trying to get my pelvis upside down to give my spine a chance to traction. And again, you just do maybe 3 to 5 of these. And then if you want to challenge yourself more, you can go onto one foot, trying to keep the hip bones level as much as possible so the pelvis doesn't twist or tilt with the challenge of one single leg. And then if you want more challenge, you can roll up and down on one single leg. This will be a lot of hamstrings, so you want to keep reminding your belly to share that work. And it's totally up to you to figure out if it feels good to do that one leg challenge or if you want to stick to just 2 legs. And then go ahead, give your hamstrings a moment to stretch out. Just reach your legs up the wall, let them be straight. And very gently let one kind of fall away from the wall towards you. Lengthening the knee and giving your hamstring a stretch. You want to keep your neutral as much as you can. If it feels good, you can hang out, holding your leg for a moment. Or you can just let it fall, have a little moment of stretch, and then take it back. And this is a great place to then take your glute stretch, because your foot's got that support on the wall. You just cross that ankle over knee. If you want more stretch, grab the thigh and pull it towards you. You might not even need to pull it away. And hang out, have a few breaths. Then you can rock towards the side that is not crossed over. Create stretch across where that glute goes from thigh bone over your hip back into your sacrum. You want to twist from your legs And then your pelvis follows. Don't twist so far that your rib cage begins to extend. And you can rock back and forth, or you can rock over and just stay for a few breaths. And then you change sides. Feeling the stretch just open as you breathe and relax. And you're relatively neutral, but if your tail curls up because you've hugged that knee so close to your chest, that's fine. There's no reason to keep pushing that tailbone down, but you should be relaxing your tailbone even if it's curled up through the stretch. And then you can take that crossing over a little bit. And each side is different, so you don't want to try to make them match necessarily. Just stretching each side according to how it feels. And then you hug your knees to your chest. Just a moment. And you can take those legs back to the wall. Find that neutral, keeping hip bones and pubic bone pretty level with each other like a flat plate. And then just for a gentle abdominal challenge, you just draw your knees away from you so your feet leave the wall and you find your belly's holding those thighs up. You can just breathe. Exhale, deepening, flattening those lower abdominals into the spine to make the legs feel like they're floating. Thigh bones pretty soft, falling into the hip sockets, keeping the tail down as the knees lift. So don't pull your knees too close to you that your tail is forced up. And then you just rest your legs back on the wall. Okay, so that's some curling and bridging and stretching through our glutes. Now we're going to go on to move away from the wall. So scoot yourself out so you've got some space. And I'm going to move. Let's see. Great. Then let yourself find yourself lying on your back again. Knees bent, feet flat. And let's just do a little bit more for the belly and the psoas. So stabilizing your pelvis, your spine, and your ribs by that deepening of the belly, keeping neutral. Imagine your psoas like a puppet string from the inside of your thigh bone up through your navel, back to your sacrum, your lower back, and even the bottom of your upper back where your ribs connect. Your sacrum connects to your leg through that psoas muscle, and it goes all the way up to the bottom of your thoracic spine. So you want to keep all those vertebrae and sacrum stable, and let your psoas and your belly fold your knee and fold your hip. Exhaling while you move your leg. So you can breathe out, deepen your belly to stabilize your pelvis and just fold that knee. Inhale, exhale, deepen your belly to put the foot back down. And just, you can stay on one leg a few times, or you can alternate. You get to decide what feels better, what helps you find your stability. Trying to get the sense that thigh really folds deep into the socket, so the big thigh muscles are minimal, and you're really finding that belly and psoas connection to lift that leg. You can just do maybe 5 on each leg. Then if you want more challenge, you can bring one knee up, use your belly to exhale that other leg up to meet it, keep the legs together, and then let both float towards the floor and draw back up to that starting point. Don't let your feet go so low that you lose your neutral and you change your back and you let your ribs or your sacrum or your spine change. Just that thigh bone hinging in the hip socket. And then you can hug your knees into your chest there. So that's some good abdominal and hip flexion. Now we're going to do some hip extension. So you're going to take yourself onto your side and into a cat. Let me tuck this in. So in my cat, I want to have hands right under shoulders, knees right under hips, and I want to be neutral. So as if I were lying on the floor, that same shape means my sacrum's pretty flat, my tail and sits bones reach back a little bit. I don't want to curl under into that coccyx curl, and I don't want to arch past neutral to where I'm letting my lower back over arch. Right in between those two places, that's where that neutral is. My hips folded and pretty soft. My lower back has a small arch, my upper back has a small round, and my neck has a small arch. I don't want my head to fall off my body. It's like a mama cat's picking me up by the scruff of my neck, pressing through my palms to keep my shoulder blades from collapsing. They're nice and wide on my back, and they're also wide away from my neck. Now as I'm here, I can do some rounding and some extending, keeping in mind that when I round, I want to focus on the lower back getting as round as it can and letting my head drop. And as I extend, I want to try to get my upper back to do the arching. Not too much lower back, not too much neck arching, but that place around my shoulder blades, that's where I want to extend from. You can breathe how you want. It can be nice to breathe out as you round. Inhale through that neutral and then exhale as you arch. You can breathe how you like it. After a few of those, find again your neutral, feeling that deep abdominal support. Now we're going to challenge hip extension. Let your right leg reach itself back, sliding it along the floor. Shifting your body as little as you need to, and then you can try to float that leg up. Imagine it reaching back to go up, keeping the neutral and keeping that back leg pretty parallel. If I turn out too much, it's going to make me want to twist. If I lift it too high, it's going to make me want to arch. I want to figure out how far can I go and keep that neutral. Now when I shift to one foot being off, my body is going to shift a bit, but I don't want to let it shift more than is necessary. I'm keeping that stability. And again, it's up to you. You can just alternate legs, or you can stay on one side. Now you might find reaching the leg back is challenging enough, and if you begin to lift the leg up and you feel pain in your sacrum or in your lower back, then maybe you say, okay, today I'm just going to reach it back and keep it touching the floor. Maybe you feel like you can lift it a bit. Maybe you can really challenge how high you lift it, but keep your low back and sacrum feeling supported. Then after a few of those, I'd say, 3 to 5 each leg. And if you're taking these lifts, you can just take a lift and a lower 3 to 5 times. Or if you're alternating, you can even just take one each time. You're going to figure out what feels best for you. Now to give a little more challenge to our range of motion in our hip, slide one leg back, keep it on the floor and slide the foot out to the side. keeping as stable as you can. I don't want to go so far I'm forced to side bend my body. I'm just taking the leg out to the side, which sends my thigh bone in to the side of the hip socket, working the side of my hip, the side of my butt, basically. And this can be surprisingly challenging. You may find that you just want to reach back, take a little slide, and return, and then alternate to the other side. Or you might think it feels good to take a few reps. You get to figure out what you like. And if you want more challenge, you can try to take that leg out a little bit and then see how does it feel to lift it. You're not going to lift it very far. It's a huge challenge for that back of the hip, side of the hip. As you go to the side, it just gets more challenging the further you go. Then lifting it up adds more work. If you feel it changing your sacrum, your lower back, you don't want to lift it so high that it becomes painful. But you should feel a lot of work right around that outer hip, which we don't work so much because we tend to keep our legs underneath us. So take that as comfortable as you want. Don't push it too far. And then you're going to child's pose. Give your back a rest. And it can be nice after being on our arms to take the arms over the head and reach them a little bit actively to feel that lap length from your armpits down to your sacrum. And then let's go finally onto our belly for some more extension of the spine. So with swan, you've got some options with your arms. You can have your palms on the floor near your shoulders and your elbows flat on the floor. And use your hands to help assist you in extending that upper back. And as you lift your chest, your head is lifting, but you don't want to lift your chin more than you lift the crown of your head, because I want my neck to extend but not collapse. I want to get that arch to travel down the sequence, so I'm really arching that upper back. And then I roll back down. The other way I can do the arms is I can reach them back, palms up, and as I lift my head, my neck, my chest, my arms just gently reach back. Your shoulder blades will slide down your back. Don't yank them down your back. That will create a lot of compression and activate the big lat muscle. We want to get to the tiny muscles around the vertebrae. So if you can imagine your skull and then really vertebrae by vertebrae, let the vertebrae find the way to lift themselves from the muscles that attach right into those little vertebrae. Extending your spine sequentially, more than just trying to lift up as high as you can. Let's do one more. This time as I'm lifting, I'm going to test it out. How does it feel to extend my hips and lengthen my legs? And maybe my legs can float away from the floor, but I'm reaching them back. I don't want to lift my legs so high that I begin to clench my butt and clench my lower back. I'm working back there, but my belly is supporting it, and the arch is more in the upper back, not letting it get into that lower back by overlifting my legs. Maybe the legs want to stay down, but if they want to challenge and lift up, just don't lift them up too high. And then go ahead again, take yourself back to your child's pose. If your back likes to press up to this kind of big cobra and get a lot of arch in your back, you can do that. But if your back doesn't want to do this, please don't.
And remember, the higher I arch, the more of my spine is involved. So if I'm lifted up all this way, my glutes are engaging because they help extend my hips and they help extend my lower back. And then take that child's pose. And this time, you can experiment by putting your arms back by your feet, letting your shoulders fall completely forward. And just take a few breaths there. Great. All right, so that's some good work for the sacrum, lower back, spine, hips, and extension. Okay. Enjoy.